All right, folks, welcome back to another killer episode of Opaleye Presents Know Your Pros. Today's guest, we have Sebastian Quiroz of United Auto Glass. Sebastian runs a mobile auto glass repair shop here in Ventura County, California. He's based out of Oxnard, but services clients throughout Southern California. He is your go-to guy should you need auto glass repair or anything that has to do with glass on a vehicle. The guy will come right to you. Sebastian, thank you for being a guest, man.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Henry. Appreciate you.
Sebastian, of course, dude, I was in a networking chapter meeting and I
Right.
noticed you because you had a killer shirt on your back. I think you're wearing it right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm wearing it right now. It's
Yeah.
a must. It's a
It
must.
it's an absolutely great shirt. I mean, it says exactly what you do.
Yeah,
And I loved it. It made a big impression on me. And I was like, this is a guy who I want to talk to, who I want folks to know as a
thank you.
professional here in Ventura County. So I noticed you and I wanted to get you on the show. So to tell our viewers and to tell folks who might be curious about what you do at United Auto Glass,
Right.
how is it that you kind of got your start, man? Like, how did it become that you started your own business?
Like anybody else, I started with the family pretty much. The necessity to come out on top.
Hmm.
And based on that, it was pretty much the drive, to make sure that my kids were gonna have something to rely on. Their dad was gonna have to, take on taking care of them, and that's pretty much what drove me to start my own business. It's couldn't help it. I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Well, you were saying that, before we started recording, you took a lot of time to tool around in Pop's shop in Oxnard. You were the kid who picked up the broom, made sure that the glass flecks were taken care of, which is kind of a funny thing for a father to tell his young son to get on top of. I remember when glass broke at my house, it was like, stay out of this room for the next half hour before it gets taken care of. But dad kind of threw you right
He
into
threw
the
it in, man.
devil's den,
Got it.
right? I
I
mean,
got
like, it sounds like you come from a family of glass. So
it.
tell us like a little bit about like that journey. I mean, it's obviously in your blood, but like, how did it start? What was in the middle? How did it come to here?
So, my dad is pretty much like you said. He's the originator. He's the one that kind of like opened the door.
Yeah.
But it was kind of more like I didn't really see myself, going further in school, education wise. So it's easy for me to be like, oh, you look, my dad's doing it. Why can't I? You know, I saw my dad, making his business moves here and there, ordering parts, calling in for cars, getting advertisement and all that. So to me, that was my education, my dad, how he got things done.
Hmm.
So right away, I'd say like 3 years ago, me and my dad weren't really seeing eye to eye anymore in the sense that like how we wanted to get things done. And since he's the boss, it's kind of his way or the highway. So I was like, hey, you know what, Dad? It's been real. But I think I'm just gonna get my own thing right now. Or, hey, you know what? That's cool, son. Go ahead and start your business. If you need anything, I'm here. If I need anything, I know you're there. So we pretty much count on each other from here on out. It's not that big of a deal. We're
Yeah.
still cool.
Well, so you cut your teeth in your dad's shop. You told me too that you worked for another company here in Oxnard.
Yep.
Was that also a mobile glass shop? I mean, did that kind of influence it in how you started this thing?
Yeah, yeah. It's All Star Glass in Ventura, and they deal with insurance. So I'd say like 90% of the work I was doing was for insurance. Uh, and like I said, that's where I got my most of my customer service. That's where I kind of sharpened the knife as far as how to deal and talk to people. So I would say that as much as I got experience with my dad, I had most of it through All Star Glass too. So it's kind of like a take from here, take from there. So it took a lot of yeah. I had to work with a bunch of people to get to where I'm at.
Right. And
Uh-huh.
you do insurance jobs, but you're also doing some of the jobs that, may not be, that way. I mean, like what's that split at your business at United between insurance and not that way?
Well, I hate to sound, but it's the money too, you know. When you work with insurance, it's kind of like you're dealing with people that are let's say have the money to pay, you know, and then sometimes you deal with people outside that want to get things done and they're like, hey, can you do this? And it's like, oh, I charge this much. Oh, well, can you take $30 off? And I'm more than willing to work with people, but that's kind of like what draws the line right there. It's kind of like, well, I could get paid a little better here as opposed to, going over here and doing something. So it's a big difference.
Right, right. So then, with that difference in mind, my last question is always about the difference. Like, why is it that somebody should go to United Auto Glass versus, that other auto glass shop in Oxnard or Ventura? Why shouldn't somebody go to Pop's store instead of, Sebastian's store? I know that you're a mobile glass repair guy, and that's great. But
Yeah.
I want to understand,
Yeah.
like, what is it that folks can see as the difference when they're talking to you versus anybody else?
I would say the trust. There's like I like to develop a lot of trust when I get my business and being on time, providing the services and the answering the questions that they might have before I even show up to where I need to be.
Hmm.
Uh, just the communication. I think the communication is key. Before like I show up, I like to let the customer know that things are gonna get done, man.
Right. Do you
Uh,
have some sort of tool that kind of enables that? Do you communicate like just, yeah, I mean, are you texting the client? Is that how it usually is going?
yeah, yeah, I make myself really available, Henry. So as opposed to any other business, let's say they have their normal business hours, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5.
Yeah.
When it comes to me, I'm available all the time, Henry. So if they want to text me at 6:30, maybe call at 7. I'm more than happy to answer. Now, of course, I'm not gonna make a house call or go to you at that time, but as long as I'm not busy or doing anything, I'm more than happy to answer and let them know what's going
Right.
on or whatever questions they might have. I'm happy to answer.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. Yeah, I mean, again, folks, we have Sebastian Quiroz, United Auto Glass. Guy will come to you. He does mobile glass repair for your vehicle. I'm looking at your card right now, Sebastian, and I know you don't have a website maybe just yet,
Not
but
yet.
tell us where folks out there can find you. Give us that detail about how they can get in touch, man.
So my number one, I would say, is my phone. My phone is literally glued to my palm, you guys. If you guys want to call or reach out, guess what? Chances are I'm going to answer. We're going to talk. You're going to get an answer out of me. Whatever questions you might have as far as auto glass goes, I'm your man. I'm there for you guys.
Beautiful. And folks, again, that number, that's 805-607-8850. You can also follow Sebastian on his Instagram page,
Right.
IG at United_Autoglass. It's all going to be in the description of this
Right.
video. Sebastian loves referrals too. That's how his business
I,
survives.
I
And
love
if you or somebody you know is out there looking for mobile auto glass repair, this is your guy. It's Sebastian Quiroz. Now you know this pro. Sebastian, man, thank you so much for being a guest here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate you, Henry. Really do.
Know your pros.